Hello YouTube, this is Charlie426 and today we have an interesting review. This is a capsule toy. For those who don't know what capsule toys are, they're basically toys from a machine that you put in coins and you turn the knob and then the prize comes out. So that's the type of products these are. So today what you see in front of you is called the Capchara Ball. So this is how they spell it, Capchara Ball. What these are, instead of like your typical capsule toy where the toy is in the capsule, the toy is the capsule right over here. So there are 5 outcomes you can get from these. So as you can see, you are basically seeing the 3 variations that you can get. So number 1 is your typical ball. The second is your ball type K, which we see in the Ace MS team. And then the third one, the green one, is actually called the prototype ball. And despite that, it has the number 21 slapped on it. Alright, so today in this review, I'm going to be showing you guys how the build process of these products, because like obviously these are very simple cheap toys which are cost 4 tokens in a machine, so that's like 400 yen, 100 yen per token, so that's like 4,001 in Korea, and that should be like around $4 in dollars, like in US dollars. So yeah, these are very simple products, so they barely have any articulation. The only articulation I can show you guys is number 1, this claw. It can move up and down like that. And then number 2 would be the cannon that can kind of swivel, but not really meant to be swiveling around. 360 if you want to, and then you can move the cannon up and down. That's literally it. There's no opening cockpit. The arms do not rotate to the side. That's pretty much it. Same, and I believe the ball type K should have less articulation, or kind of, but still you have the moving claws. This one can at least move the entire claw up and down because there's another extra joint here. And move each claw if you want to do so. Of course, they tend to pop out, so just be careful. And then the cannon, yeah, kind of on the stiff side, so you can still rotate, move up and down, but once again, very stiff. So just keep that in mind. And the prototype ball, pretty much the same as your regular ball. So yeah. So what you see, so what I happened to get, I rolled 5 times, so I at least got each versions, but I got a repeat for the prototype and number 3. As I mentioned, there's 5 outcomes, but there's only 3 variations, as I mentioned. What are the other 2? So you see, this is the basic ball, and this one has a decal number 3. Guess what? The other 2 are basically the same ball as this, but has the number 1 or 2. So that's 5 outcomes. You get 1, 2, or 3, or the type K, or the prototype ball. So that's the outcome. So, yeah. So before I start building, some people were mentioning or asking me what's the scale of this. I don't know why everybody is so obsessed with scale, but to give you a general idea, so I'm going to put these 2 on the side. I brought out my old Premium Bandai exclusive Master Grade Polypod ball because this is the only ball kit I actually have. And if you look at to the side, if you put next to them to each other, the ball size itself, the Capchara Ball, this capsule toy ball, is much bigger. But does that mean this is a bigger scale? No. Look at the arms. The arms are much shorter. They're not bigger. They're not even longer. So yeah, this thing I would consider to be scaleless. Even the cannon is much more shorter and smaller. So hope that gives you an idea of what this scale is. Okay, so I'm gonna put those 3 here, and yeah. So when you get this, there might be a sticker on the bottom, and when you peel off the sticker, it's gonna leave some sticky stuff on here. So I would suggest to be careful. You take that out before you start building. So the build process is very good. You open this up, there's going to be parts, and then you're gonna build around the ball. I really like that concept. So I'm gonna open it up. It opens up pretty easily. Of course, there's going to be some parts that might fall out like that. You spread it out, and yeah. And they do, I'm glad they actually used the clear piece for this section. And then we get the manual. So for those who need a manual, the paper does provide like basic information for not for everything, but the basics on how these are built. So yeah. And yeah, some parts, depending on which ball you get, some parts might be wrapped in another packaged in another vinyl piece like this, so in a plastic bag kind of thing. Now sometimes these are pretty tricky to get out, but because they are taped, so if you're having trouble, you can always rip it open. So I'm having trouble here, so let's get a knife. Hopefully I don't cut myself. And yeah, there we go. So as I mentioned, if you want to like have something a very solid ball product, I think this is like the best, because obviously the HGUC versions, while they do provide two of the products, but I say their price is not the best price. The master grade, you know, I mean, it's okay, but once again, I don't say though. I'm not sure if that's a very solid thing. I mean, if you drop it, you're pretty much done for it. So anyway, so the first thing you want to do is basically you pour out the pieces and then rebuild or reattach or close the ball once more. They close up pretty easily, and I would suggest if you have multiple of these, maybe you can glue one of these on, because keep in mind you're building around this ball, and this is the seam line, and all the pieces, like some pieces go onto these lines, so are between the lines, so you have to put it in these holes. So if you're having like issues where parts are falling off, maybe you need to glue this on just to make sure you get the proper, you know, thing going on. So one of the first things I would do is basically I would get this, the bottom section, and then plug it into the bottom to make sure, so at least it can stand on its own. And the rest is pretty simple. All you need to do is pretty much build it around. So we have this part which goes down here. There's like holes right over here, so you can plug the pieces in. So this is a very fun product. There's actually one more product. The Capchara series has multiple products, but there's only two for the Gundam series. One is this ball. The other one is the Butchie guys. I hope that's how you pronounce it in English. But yeah, the small bear Gunpla things in 5 colors, I believe. But I'm not interested in that, so you don't expect a review from me. So here we have the claw arm. Oh boy, there we go. So what you have to know is that the claw, the outside, the part that should be facing outside should be like this, and the inside should be the ones that are like empty. So we get this claw arm, and what we do is we get this piece, and there's a hole, there's a peg right over here, and all you need to do is plug it in. Of course, this part is the part that might not plug in too easily, and this part might be the part that you could accidentally break. Not because it's fragile, but if you put too much force in it by accident, you might actually break it. And then we have these 2 square holes, 2 pegs, you plug it in. So for the other side, you do the exact same thing. Of course. Wait a second. Oh, there we go. So there we go. We plug this thing in. Plug the other section right over here. Luckily, the arms, like other than the left claw arm and right claw arm, these parts, it doesn't really matter which side you use it on. So no need to worry on which one is left and right, other than the claw arms. And then, yeah, we have these sections right over here, which goes on the back. Of course, these do actually have a specific left and right, but if you get it right, you should be able to plug them in pretty easily. So if it's not plugging in easily like this, plug it on the other side. And it goes in pretty well, so yeah. And finally, so we have the backpack right over here. And finally, we have the cannon. Pretty simple build, just slap these 2 together to complete the cannon. Come on, get in there. You get this section right over here, you plug it in like this, and there you go, you finish the cannon, and you have yourself a ball. Of course, this thing does not stand on its own too well, so just keep that in mind. And that is pretty much it. As I mentioned, well, the prototype and the normal ball, there's only, other than the color on the sticker decal, or 21, 3, green, blue, I don't really see any differences, considering that this is still called the prototype ball, but yeah. And that's pretty much it. So I consider these to be a very fun product and cool product. So if you want to have a ball army, this is your best shot. If you can find one, I suggest you get a few of them, just to make sure to have some fun. And there's also a lot of panel lining opportunities on the product as well, so I'm pretty sure some of you guys will be able to make something really interesting with these. Anyway, that's pretty much it for the review. This was the review of the Capchara Ball series. If you guys got any questions or requests, leave a comment below. I hope they actually make more stuff like these in the future. Anyway, until then, see you guys next time.